Hey friend, welcome to day 2 of the 12 days of Christmas. My name is Chuck Betters. This is MARKINC Ministries. And over these next 10, 11, 12 days, we're going to talk to you about what you've talked to us about. In other words, we're going to tell your stories. Sharon, why do we do at MARKINC Ministries what we do?
I just love when you ask that question, because sometimes over the years we've asked each other that question, wondering, is it making a difference? And then we get a note from one of you who, I'll talk about one in particular. We have numerous platforms with MARKINC that are all designed to help turn hearts toward Jesus, to offer help and hope to one person at a time. And so we keep our eyes on that one person who is desperate for hope. I like to say hanging on to life by their fingernails. And I remember I was that person. And so that's the reason that we go out into the darkness to find that one person. And so let me get back to that note from a woman who shared that she just stumbled on the Daily Treasure podcast. We have a Daily Treasure devotional. It's 365 days a year. I write them, and I have guest writers who come for the What She Said series, and the whole purpose is to help turn hearts toward Jesus and to come alongside of people who are walking by faith, many struggling and feeling alone. And they say, you're like a friend that I meet with every day for a few minutes. And so this one particular woman wrote to us, and she said, my only daughter has been incarcerated for life, and there's no hope. She's never going to get out of prison. My marriage is, there is no marriage anymore. Everything that's happened has destroyed everything that's precious to me. My friends have walked away. I'm so lonely. And then I found the devotional. I just stumbled on it. And every morning when I wake up, I can't wait to listen to the podcast, because it's like a friend is coming alongside of me and saying, you can get out of bed this morning. You can take the next step. Jesus is with you. He has not forsaken you. He is keeping the promise of his presence to you. Now, I'm ad-libbing a little bit, but that was her message to us. And I read it to Chuck and I said, and this is why we do what we do, because we know that desperation. Our circumstances are different, but the desperation, the loneliness, longing to know that someone cares, and Jesus is the one, the light of the world, who entered the darkness and could not be shut down by the darkness, and that's why.
I was, shortly after we lost our son Mark, I was cutting wood with an old farmer. He had a big John Deere tractor with a big blade on it, and I would go down there once or twice a year and cut wood. And he noticed that I was really down, really walking in darkness. He turned the machine off and he comes over to me with his big, strong hands. He puts his hands on my shoulders. And he said to me, what's the matter? What's wrong? Now, this is a man who lost his young son tragically years before me. Years before Sharon and I lost Mark. And I said to him, I said, Chandler, I need somebody to tell me that I'm not going crazy, that I'm going to be okay, and that it's going to get better. And he got all filled up with tears. And he looked at me, he had his hands on my shoulders, and he said, I am telling you, it is going to get better. Now that was a blessing to me, because here's a man standing in front of me who knew the loss of a child. He knew it personally, and he knew it well, telling me, fresh in my grief, this is going to get better. And I believed him. I really believed him. And the reason I tell you that little story is because that's what MARKINC Ministries is all about. People who have experienced enormous suffering, looking back to minister to others who are going through the same thing that they just went through or are going through. This is one of the reasons why we do what we do, because we want people who are suffering, who have suffered, to look back and lend a hand, lend a heart to those who are just beginning to walk that walk of grief for whatever darkness they might be experiencing. And Sharon, that's why we do at MARKINC Ministries what we do.